Welcome back to this week's episode of Unlocked. I know today looks a little bit different, and that's because I felt like I just needed to do an emergency podcast episode. I am recording this on Saturday, February 8th. So there's a multitude of reasons as to why I felt I needed to do this episode. Number one, I just needed to clear the air, get the truth out there, and actually let you guys know what I'm asking for. Another reason is on the 22nd, I will be in Washington, D.C. speaking at CPAC. And then later that night, I will be at Mar-a-Lago for my friend Gianno Caldwell's foundation. And I am extremely honored to have been asked to be in attendance at the event at Mar-a-Lago. And I think even more honored to be speaking at CPAC and getting to share my story and talk about criminal justice reform and how the criminal justice system has personally impacted me and my family. I believe it's our responsibility to take every hardship and adversity we go through and turn it around and use it to our advantage and make a difference in people's lives. And that's what I'm doing. But with all of those big events taking place, I felt like I really needed to get out and let you guys know what I'm asking for when it comes to the pardon and give you a little bit of background. The past few days, I've been posting a few Instagram and TikTok videos just talking about the corruption that's going on at Dad's facility, the inhumane conditions, the abuse, and just all of the information I'm getting from people who work at the facility. I am not getting this information through my father via a cell phone like the individuals like to claim. That is not happening. There actually are a very few good ones that work there. And for those individuals, I am extremely grateful for. But since I have these big events coming up and Mom and Dad's stories gaining a lot of traction. A lot of people are interested. Every single day I'm having people tag me in messages to the president to where they're asking him to pardon my parents. And on the flip side, I also see people who are saying, why should he pardon them? They're guilty. They did X, Y, and Z. And I understand that you may have that question. And so today I'm here to just lay it all out on the line. I know that there are very few people that are protesting the release of Mom and Dad, and that's because they are guilty themselves and they just haven't been convicted, at least not yet, convicted or charged. If I had my way, that would look a lot different. Because in this situation, the people who committed crimes are not being held accountable. And so with the whole pardon process, people have asked, what does it look like? How does this happen? Well, here is a folder right here to the attention of President Donald J. Trump, sent on behalf of Todd and Julie Chrisley. So we have hard copies of everything, but we also have digital copies that we have sent to everyone that I know to send it to. I truly am a daughter fighting for justice for my parents. I want to see my parents come home. I look at the video of Steve Bannon and his daughter embracing each other when he comes out of the prison, and all I can think of is our day's coming. Like, it has to be coming. I work my ass off day in and day out to make the connections that I need to make. And someone gave me a quote the other day, and we were talking about just how persistent I have become. That's really not my personality. I don't ever like to ask anyone for anything. I pride myself on the fact that I've done this, and I've done it pretty dang well the past 2 years. I haven't asked anyone to help or for $1, whatever it may be. I have struggled on my own. Now, like I said, my grandmother has helped me watch Chloe. But when I talk about the legal battle, I've done it on my own. I've hired the right lawyers. I have done the research. I have fought. I have made connections in DC and all around the country with politicians. I have forged my way and forced my way into rooms that I really was never meant to be in. And if you're listening to this and you find yourself in a similar situation to where you feel like you're just never going to make any leeway, let this serve as a little bit of encouragement to you that you will and you can, as long as you're persistent and as long as you force your way. Sometimes you have to force your way into rooms that you were never meant to be in. And that's what I've done. I had zero political connections 2 years ago. I was not involved in politics really at all. And I have educated myself on politics, on the topic of criminal justice reform, you name it, I've done it. Because I want my parents home. And more than that, I want to make a difference in this world. When I exit this world, I want people to remember me for the impact that I had on people's lives and how I disrupted a system so badly and forced change, implemented change. I disrupted a system full of abuse and inhumane conditions, theft, you name it. I want people to remember me for that. Not being afraid to go against the grain and not being afraid to fight for what I believed in. And that's what this whole journey is about. It's about fighting for my parents, fighting to get them home. And I've had to learn how to be persistent. I have. I mean, it's not easy for me because I do not like asking for help. But I had to put my pride aside and I had to learn that persistency is key. Closed mouths don't get fed. It's that simple. Closed mouths don't get fed. So, to my acquaintances that I've met over the past 2 years that have opened their lives to me, given me their phone numbers, given me their emails, I know at times you may think, Jesus, this woman is annoying. Stop contacting me. That's fair. I get it. But all I would say is put yourself in my shoes. I'm 27 years old. I've never been in this world before. I have 2 younger children who look at me and ask when mom and dad are coming home. Chloe recently, when the January Sixers got pardoned, she looked at me. I remember watching the news because that's really all that's on in our house. I encourage the children to watch the news, stay up to date with what's going on, educate yourself. Don't wait till you're my age to start educating yourself. And when the January Sixers got pardoned, Chloe looked at me and said, "Is it our turn next?" And when she said it, I had to turn my face and try not to cry. Because I see in her a child that just wants her mom and dad home. So to all the people that I have annoyed and I have been persistent with, I would apologize, but I'm not going to because I have 2 children that I'm fighting for. I have my parents that I'm fighting for. I have my grandparents that I'm fighting for. We're at a stage to where one of my grandparents could easily pass away while my parents are in prison. And I can't let that happen. So, to all the people who have opened your lives to me, your emails, your phone numbers, your offices, please just keep an open heart and mind and know that I'm just fighting for my family to be back together. And more than that, I'm fighting for justice. I'm fighting to create a system that holds people accountable, whether you're in office or you're a citizen. Everyone should be held accountable. So, with that being said, I have sent digital copies of this packet to an insane amount of individuals. I am mailing hard copies to individuals, and I've gained some traction to the governors that have, I guess, trying to figure out the best way to put it, to the governors that are taking interest in this, to the congressmen and congresswomen who see the inconsistencies in this case and who see corruption, and just to all the politicians who have opened their minds to this. I appreciate it, and I will forever be grateful to you and owe you for looking into this case, because as I've said from the beginning, if you want to convict them, convict them. I'm fine with that. But convict them on the truth, and that can't be done. All right, y'all. Genetics can be beautiful. And, well, sometimes we may have gotten a little something that we didn't want, or maybe we did want. But if you got something you didn't want and you feel like you're being held back from getting the body that you deserve, well, check out the Permanent Solutions by Sono Bello. Lipo used to be such a bad word, but we're also supposed to act like we love every part of our bodies. And, well, I'm telling you, that's just BS. I have struggled with just how I feel about my body, certain things I like, certain things I don't like, and I've realized getting your body back is so hard. I get it. And that's why I want you guys to check out Sono Bello, the most known secret with celebs and influencers. So many have had lipo, whether it's a small touch-up or a total makeover. No one has a perfect body, but lipo has changed, and Sono Bello has been at the forefront with using LAL technology and getting these beautiful natural outcomes for each and every person. Our friends at Sono Bello are offering you their best deal. You're now included in their winter savings event, but appointments are limited, so please get on this. Sono Bello doctors are masters in micro laser fat removal, a brilliant technique that removes stubborn fat permanently wherever your problem areas, tummy, love handles, thighs, arms, it's gone in one comfortable visit. Eating healthy and workouts are great. Keep doing that. But if you want to lose that stubborn fat in one visit, check out Sono Bello. Save big during their winter savings event. Schedule your free consultation now at sonobello.com/unlocked. That's sonobello, BELLO.com/unlocked. If you've been listening to Unlocked for a while, then you know sometimes I am just brutally honest and I may tell too much. But I also love supporting businesses that are female founded, and that's where Honey Love comes into play. Honey Love is an independent female founded brand. All Honey Love products are intelligently designed by women who actually wear them, including their founder, Betsy, who is highly involved in the development of each product. You guys know, sometimes wearing bras can just be, the underwire, no thanks. And that's why Honey Love bras are supportive and wire-free, thanks to their bonding technology that lifts without underwire. You deserve a bra that's lightweight and comfortable without sacrificing support. And, well, let's face it, a great bra is the foundation for any great outfit. Start every outfit with Honey Love and elevate your style. Also, Honey Love shapewear is designed to move with you. Say goodbye to pesky shapewear that rolls down as soon as you hit the dance floor. Y'all, ladies, you know the feeling. And it is not a good one. Honey Love shapewear is just as easy to get on as it is to take off. And it was made with a convenient opening in the panty area for super easy bathroom trips. No costume change required. Ladies, you know that is so important. Treat yourself to the best bras and shapewear on the market. Save 20% off Honey Love at honeylove.com/unlocked. Use our exclusive link to get 20% off honeylove.com/unlocked to find your perfect fit. After you purchase, they ask you where you heard about them, and please support our show and tell them that we sent you. Elevate your comfort, elevate your style with Honey Love. So we start off this part-in packet with a letter to the White House counsel's office. This letter is written by Alex Little, our lawyer. There are certain things in here that I'm going to skim through this packet because, as you can tell, I mean, it's a lot. It's a few hundred pages. There are certain things in here that I'm going to skip over just due to respecting individuals who have written very heartfelt letters and information and personal information. I just want to respect those who may not want their information out there. And that's what I'm going to do. So next, I'm going to read to you the executive summary. The executive summary, I think, will help a lot of people who are struggling with, why in the heck is this girl asking for a pardon? She thinks she's privileged. She thinks that her parents are above the law. Maybe this will help you. Todd and Julie Chrisley, prominent conservatives and vocal supporters of President Trump, became targets of a politically motivated prosecution led by former colleagues of Fulton County DA Fani Willis. Their reality show, Chrisley Knows Best, drew millions of devoted fans across 9 seasons, but their public profile and conservative values made them vulnerable to what prosecutors mockingly called the Trumps of the South. Todd rose from humble beginnings in South Carolina to become a successful real estate developer and businessman. Following the 2008 financial crisis, he demonstrated remarkable resilience, rebuilding his business and later becoming a beloved television personality. Together with Julie, they created a loving home for their children, including their adopted granddaughter, Chloe, while maintaining extensive charitable work in Nashville and Atlanta. The pardon is supported by multiple prominent Republicans, including members of Congress. Their legal troubles began when Georgia Department of Revenue investigator Josh Waits pinned Todd's photo on his office dartboard before launching an investigation into him. This personal animus led to an illegal raid where officers seized about 20 boxes of documents. Federal prosecutors subsequently built their case on this illegally obtained evidence and permitted false testimony from an IRS officer regarding the Chrisleys' tax obligations, while relying heavily on an immunized witness with no credibility. During their incarceration, both Todd and Julie have demonstrated exemplary conduct. Julie's completed 43 educational certificates and maintained multiple work positions, while Todd's advocacy as a whistleblower played a large role in shutting down a prison because of their poor conditions. Their absence has severely impacted their family. Their 27-year-old daughter, Savannah, who powerfully defended President Trump at the 2024 Republican National Convention, now cares for Grayson, 18, and Chloe, 12, while Julie's elderly parents struggle with health issues. This case warrants executive clemency due to prosecutorial overreach and constitutional violations. The Obama-appointed judge overseeing the case has demonstrated clear bias, including at Julie's 2024 resentencing, where, despite a significantly reduced guidelines range, the court rendered a harsher sentence after scolding Savannah for her RNC speech and podcast criticisms of the case. As a result, Julie remains in jail for possibly 3 more years, and Todd will be in jail for possibly 10 more years. Their prosecution exemplifies the weaponization of justice against conservatives and public figures, eroding basic constitutional protections. They humbly ask President Trump to right this wrong and send them back home to their family and community, where they can continue their positive impact in charitable work. This next page, I wasn't sure if I wanted to show it or not, but you know what, I'm going to. Because these are photos that have never been seen before. It's tough looking at them. I was the one that took them. And part of me is a little jealous because I wish someone would have taken a photo of me saying goodbye. But this page states, Todd and Julie Chrisley. The loss of both parents to federal prison has taken a large toll on the Chrisley family, and Todd and Julie have not been allowed to speak with each other since they were incarcerated. The photo The photos below depict Todd's last moments with the family. And we'll put the photos up on the screen. But these are photos that I took of Grayson saying goodbye to Dad. This was Chloe the night before. She didn't want to let him go. Their son Grayson was only 16 at the time. Their daughter Chloe was even younger. They've remained devout Christians. Below is a photo of their prayers at trial and a photo of Julie's last moments with Grayson. I will never forget standing there and watching Mom say goodbye. I also have, it's not included in this packet, but I've got a photo of Mom and Dad saying goodbye to each other. And nothing ever prepares you for that moment. It truly doesn't. When I was watching Mom say goodbye to Grayson, because her friend Chad and Chase and I think my mom's parents went to drop my mom off. And then me, Nick, and Grayson went and dropped Dad off. And so we were with Dad a little longer. And when I saw, Grayson just didn't have to say goodbye to Dad necessarily at the house. But when he said goodbye to Mom, I literally, I just broke. I can't imagine what my mom felt like saying goodbye to her child. I can't. And when I saw Grayson cry, I can get through just about anything. But Grayson truly is my whole world. And so seeing him cry, I fell to pieces. And so part of this pardon packet is to just show the impacts that this has had on us as a family. Also point out the injustices. This is a really tough situation to be in. So for those that are critical of it, just maybe try to put yourself in our shoes and have a little bit of compassion. I want to read this paragraph to you guys. The investigation's improper origins traced to Josh Waits, then chief criminal investigator of the Georgia Department of Revenue, whose personal animus against public figures led him to put up Todd Chrisley's picture on a dartboard in his office. His politically motivated targeting led to an illegal raid where Waits and his team arrived at a storage facility with police lights flashing and threatened a warehouse manager with arrest to gain warrantless access. Following the seizure of approximately 20 boxes of personal documents, Waits instructed other DOR officers to deny his presence at the raid, establishing a pattern of misconduct that would define the entire prosecution. Why would this man need to lie about being present and obtaining these so-called boxes that had so-called evidence in them? And the evidence was never authenticated. Federal prosecutors subsequently coordinated with state authorities to maintain access to the illegally obtained evidence, attempting to legitimize the unconstitutional search through subsequent federal warrants. The prosecution constructed their case upon this tainted foundation, relying heavily on testimony from Mark Braddock, a single immunized witness whose credibility was severely compromised. So when I talk about an immunized witness, this is someone who has been given full blanket immunity by the federal government, so they can never be prosecuted for any crimes that they commit. Prosecutors knowingly permitted false testimony from an IRS officer regarding the Chrisleys' tax obligations, claiming that the Chrisleys owed taxes for several years when in reality they had fully paid their taxes. The pattern of constitutional violations culminated at Julie Chrisley's 2024 resentencing. Despite successfully appealing and receiving a dramatically reduced guidelines range from 121 to 151 months down to 78 to 97 months, representing a more than 35% reduction, the district court imposed a harsher sentence. While maintaining the original 84-month prison term, the court added 2 years of supervised release. Demonstrating clear vindictiveness, the court's retaliatory motivation became evident as it devoted significant time to criticizing their daughter Savannah's protected political speech at the Republican National Convention and on her podcast, focusing more on her public statements about the case than the relevant sentencing factors mandated by statute. That right there should scare everyone. It truly should. This paragraph that I'm going to read to you guys talks about those Fourth Amendment violations, and then we go into false testimony that was made by an IRS officer. Federal prosecutors compounded these constitutional violations by coordinating with state authorities to maintain access to the illegally seized evidence. Rather than excluding the fruits of the unconstitutional search as Supreme Court precedent requires, prosecutors attempted to legitimize the seizure through subsequent federal warrants. This attempt to cure a constitutional violation through after-the-fact warrants directly contradicts established Fourth Amendment jurisprudence. The prosecution's most egregious constitutional violation occurred through their knowing use of false testimony from IRS officer Betty Carter. During trial, Carter testified that the Chrisleys owed substantial tax balances for multiple years. However, as revealed in post-trial communications, Carter admitted to the Chrisleys' accountants that they were actually current on their taxes for 2014, 15, and 16, and that the IRS had failed to properly apply their payments. The prosecution team knew of this false testimony, but failed to correct it, violating their constitutional obligations under Giglio versus United States and Brady versus Maryland. The government's case relied heavily on testimony from a single immunized witness, Mark Braddock, whose credibility was severely compromised. Braddock received complete immunity for his testimony, yet even he could not directly implicate Julie Chrisley in fraudulent activities. As documented in trial transcripts, Braddock admitted he did not directly send any of the documents to her, and that he would be guessing if he said that she had seen them. The prosecution's reliance on such testimony from an immunized witness, combined with their knowing use of false testimony from Officer Carter, raises serious questions about the fundamental fairness of the trial. That simple. For people that are listening, what I've read thus far should scare the absolute hell out of you. That the government can get away with violating your constitutional rights and then proceed to convict you and throw you in prison for a combined 19 years. These people should be held accountable. And hopefully under President Trump and Pam Bondi, they will be. The vindictive sentencing and First Amendment retaliation is also pretty important as well. This talks about my RNC speech, and it says the political nature. I'm not going to read the first part, so it just talks about resentencing, but this states the political nature of this prosecution became even more apparent at Julie's 2024 resentencing hearing. The Obama-appointed judge, a former colleague of Fani Willis, demonstrated clear bias when she focused more on criticizing Savannah Chrisley's RNC speech supporting President Trump than on the relevant resentencing factors. As Savannah noted in that speech, we live in a nation founded on freedom, liberty, and justice for all. Justice is supposed to be blind, but today we have a two-faced justice system. The judge's reaction to this protected political speech, imposing a harsher sentence despite a reduced guidelines range, validates these very concerns about politically motivated prosecution. The court's retaliatory motivation became evident through its focused criticism of Savannah Chrisley's protected political speech. Instead of addressing the substantial reduction in guidelines or analyzing statutory sentencing factors, the court devoted significant time to admonishing Savannah's public statements at the Republican National Convention and on her podcast. The vindictiveness of the resentencing becomes particularly clear when examining the court's own contradictory statements. While acknowledging that everything that I took into account is still the same, and this is in quotes, this is the judge speaking. While acknowledging that everything that I took into account is still the same, everything that I based my downward variance on is the same. The court nevertheless imposed a harsher sentence. This decision cannot be reconciled with fundamental principles of due process, which prohibit courts from punishing defendants for successfully appealing their convictions or sentences. But it can be explained by the court being upset that the Chrisley's daughter was making public statements critical of the case. The Supreme Court has consistently held that due process of law requires that vindictiveness against a defendant for having successfully attacked his first conviction must play no part in the sentence he receives after a new trial. And this is in North Carolina versus Pierce. The district court's actions here, imposing a harsher sentence while focusing on protected political speech rather than relevant sentencing factors, violate these fundamental constitutional rights. So once again, constitutional rights are being violated. We then go into just post-conviction conduct, rehabilitation, which has been exemplary. You have the family and community impact, where we go into my grandparents' health issues, my story, Grayson's story, Chloe's story. We truly dig deep into that. And then we have the inhumane conditions of confinement as well that is listed in this pardon packet. I just want to reiterate that for people who may not have heard, or people who are just tuning in, and people who don't quite understand what I'm speaking about. The conditions of Julie Chrisley's incarceration have proven to be exceptionally harsh, going well beyond the standard punitive measures of imprisonment. Her daughter Savannah's letter to the court provides detailed documentation of these conditions, particularly during transport for resentencing. My mother endured a 13-hour transport, told not to eat or drink because if she had to go to the bathroom, she would have to walk to the back of the plane, filled with men heckling her just to use the restroom. She chose to not eat or drink for the entire journey just to preserve what little dignity she had left. The degrading treatment continued way beyond transport, as Julie has faced severe restrictions on basic human needs. Following her resentencing hearing, she was transferred between multiple facilities, often confined her to her cell for 23 hours a day, with only 1 hour of outside access. These conditions have taken a significant physical and psychological toll, particularly given her age and pre-existing health conditions. Despite these challenges, Julie has maintained exemplary behavior and continued her commitment to rehabilitation programs. The severity of these conditions is particularly noteworthy given Julie's 0-point offender status and lack of any disciplinary infractions during her incarceration. As documented in her BOP records, she has consistently demonstrated model behavior while enduring conditions typically reserved for high-risk inmates. The disparity between her conduct and the treatment raises serious questions about the appropriateness and proportionality of her confinement conditions. Todd has fared no better. His prison has been endemic with unsanitary conditions, including black mold and spoiled and expired food. Staff have engaged in extreme corruption. And you need not take our word for it. After Todd began to speak out about the conditions and give them publicity, the Bureau of Prisons itself decided to shut down the facility where it had been housing him as an inmate. We have also the table of contents, which shows judgments to be pardoned, indictments to be pardoned, letters in support, the opening brief, transcript of my RNC speech, transcript of the resentencing hearing, the OIG report, sentencing statements, and the Georgia Department of Revenue settlement, where my parents got a 7-figure settlement from the Georgia Department of Revenue. You take that as you will. They got paid a 7-figure settlement for something that they got thrown in prison for. Make that make sense. You get paid a 7-figure settlement for the same things that threw you in prison. Something's not clicking when it comes to that. But in the OIG report, I'm not going to harp on it too long. I'll make sure that we post a link for you guys to access this OIG report because it's very interesting. It speaks about... Oh gosh, you're going to see Waits in this a lot. Director Waits violated state procurement rules by purchasing a 2015 a Ford F-250 Super Duty truck. OSI personnel abused the Financial Crimes Enforcement by submitting a false certification. This is something that I really want to point out to you guys. A FinCEN report is it can be so dangerous. It's amazing when you need it. And when it should be pulled, because this pulls up all of your information. I mean, everything. But this report is only allowed to be used in the cases of money laundering and terrorism, I believe. And last I checked, there was never any accusations. There was never any investigation. There was never any indictment for money laundering or terrorism. On February 21st, 2017, OSI Special Agent Scott Santilli submitted an investigative request to the United States Department of Treasury Financial Crimes Enforcement Network, commonly known as a 314A request, due to its origin in Section 314A of the U.S. Patriot Act of 2001. FinCEN requests allow law enforcement officials to identify and confirm bank accounts held by an individual or entity under investigation. However, such requests can only be made concerning targets engaged in or reasonably suspected based on credible evidence of engaging in terrorist activity or money laundering. Santilli's February 2017 submission, which was approved by OSI Assistant Chief Jeff Mitchell, saw information concerning bank accounts held by Todd and Julie Chrisley and other business entities associated with the Chrisleys. I want to say that there was a report also ran on me and a few other family members, which is where entities associated with the Chrisleys come from. While DOR did not maintain an internal policy addressing 314A request, specific requirements are outlined on the standard state and local certification form provided by FinCEN. And they have to sign acknowledging that I understand that Section 314A system is an extraordinary law enforcement tool that should not be used if there are adequate traditional investigative tools available. In addition, the requester must certify whether the investigation involves credible evidence of terrorist activity or significant money laundering activities. As a result, a 314A request is only proper if an ongoing criminal investigation existed before the time of submission. OIG found that OSI personnel did not have sufficient cause to make a 314A request. Before the submission of the 314A request, senior DOR leadership explicitly instructed DOR OSI that a criminal investigation concerning the Chrisleys should not be opened. Should not be open. Let me read that again. Senior DOR leadership explicitly instructed DOR OSI, which is Josh Waits' division, that a criminal investigation concerning the Chrisleys should not be opened, and that the matter would remain civil in nature. Despite Special Agent Santilli's certification that the investigation is a priority to the agency, in quotes, OIG did not find any evidence that OSI had conducted any criminal investigative steps prior to submission. In fact, email correspondence suggests that OSI opened a criminal file and assigned a case number solely for the purpose of submitting a 314A request less than 24 hours later. After submitting the 314A request, OSI did not take any other investigative actions for the following 9 months, at which point the criminal file was closed. Evidence gathered during this investigation suggests that Director Waits initiated the 314A request. During OIG interviews, former revenue agent Katie Vansel and former supervisory special agent Douglas Legg both separately identified Director Waits as the individual who first suggested and directed the use of 314A request. Vansel reaffirmed this statement on April 14, 2021, while testifying during a federal evidentiary hearing. In addition, SSA Legg wrote a sworn affidavit on March 11, 2020, stating that DOR employees submitted a certification to FinCEN at the direction of Joshua Waits, falsely alleging that the Chrisleys were involved in terrorism or money laundering in order to obtain the Chrisleys' financial information. During his interview with OIG, Special Agent Santilli could not recall any conversations with Director Waits concerning the 314A request and identified SSA Legg as the individual who requested the submission. However, OIG confirmed that SSA Legg later sent an email to Assistant Jeff Mitchell on March 15, 2017, indicating a lack of knowledge concerning the submission. Hey Jeff, did Scott open a criminal case on Todd Chrisley? ? I have no information on this, but saw it as case closed. Are we now working a criminal case with all else we're presently doing? Finally, an email correspondence from 2020 reviewed by OIG, and during subsequent interviews, S.A. Santilli and Assistant Jeff Mitchell claimed that documentation related to the 314A request was destroyed. Let me reread that for you. Assistant Jeff Mitchell claimed that documentation related to the 314A request was destroyed according to common practice and no longer existed. Despite these assertions, OIG eventually located the request and email accounts for 3 separate DOR employees, including one belonging to Special Agent Santilli. Based on these findings, the allegation is substantiated. This should scare the ever-living hell out of every single one of you. We are all walking around, living our day-to-day lives, and in the background, you could have some wannabe badass OIS, OI, whatever in the hell they want to be, accessing all of your personal information without any proper evidence to do so. This right here, ladies and gentlemen, is why I'm asking for a pardon. Because we have people in power who abuse their power every single day and throw innocent people in prison when in reality, they should be the ones there. Director Waits and other senior DOR personnel posed for photographs on furniture seized from Todd Chrisley. You can see the photos right here. A conflict of interest existed when Pippin's Barbecue, a restaurant owned by DOR Commissioner David Curry, catered the 2019 DOR OSI Christmas party. DOR failed to implement proper internal controls governing the management of a bank account credited for use in undercover criminal investigations. DOR failed to implement proper internal controls governing the management of mobile devices, but I'm not going to go over all of that. You guys can look for that for yourself. I guess where I'm going to end this is I've given you a lot of information. I would tell you to break it up in bits and pieces and go through and truly re-listen to this podcast and listen to everything that I have said. I am, in fact, asking President Trump for a pardon, for clemency, to get my parents home, to right a wrong and reunite a family. I wouldn't be asking for this if I knew they were guilty, because I do believe heavily in law and order. I believe that we have laws in place, and if you break them, but I believe that for everyone. I believe it not just for my parents, not just for you guys sitting at home, not just for myself, but I believe the same to be for politicians and these officers and people of power. They don't just get to break the law and get away with it. But unfortunately, in the country we're living in right now, they do. So, yes, I'm asking President Trump for a pardon. I've been kind of quiet about it. I've been trying to figure out how I need to go about it. But I'm putting it here. I'm asking President Trump for a pardon. I've got all the information. I have sent it to everyone that I know to send it to. I will be speaking at CPAC on criminal justice reform, and even after my parents come home, I will continue to fight for justice for those who can't fight for themselves, because now I know too much to not do something about it. My mission is to completely dismantle the BOP. I cannot wait until new leadership is in place for us to create a system for rehabilitation and not abuse. I'm going to read a letter that I wrote, and the title is Why Todd and Julie Chrisley's Story Should Alarm Every American. My name is Savannah Chrisley, and I am the proud daughter of Todd and Julie Chrisley. I'm writing today not just as their daughter, but as a witness to the devastating consequences of a justice system that allowed bias, misconduct, and political motivations to strip my parents of their freedom. Their story is not just about them. It's a cautionary tale about how fragile justice can be when those in power abuse their positions. This is why I'm pleading for a presidential pardon to correct the wrongs inflicted on my family and to shine a light on the systemic failures that allowed this travesty to unfold. A story rooted in misconduct. The roots of this case trace back to the improper actions of Joshua Waits, then chief criminal investigator of the Georgia Department of Revenue. His animus towards my family and public figures led him to target my father personally. He displayed my dad's picture on a dartboard in his office and initiated an illegal raid on a storage facility with flashing police lights, threatening a warehouse manager with arrest to gain access, all without a warrant. Approximately 20 boxes of personal documents were seized during this raid, and Waits instructed his team to deny that he was ever present. Our nation is rooted in constitutional protections, and a search warrant signed by a judge is one of the basic premises that all prosecutors are required to follow. However, in this case, no one was there to hold the government accountable. This behavior has become all too common. The same kind of illegal, out-of-control prosecutorial misconduct that President Trump himself was subjected to throughout his barrage of politically fueled legal attacks. The Georgia Office of Inspector General's report on this case exposed shocking misconduct that tainted the very origins of the investigation. According to the report, Department of Revenue employees falsely alleged that the Chrisleys were involved in terrorism or money laundering in order to obtain their financial information. Former Revenue Agent Katie Vansel and former Supervisory Special Agent Douglas Legg testified that this false allegation originated directly from Joshua Waits. In a sworn affidavit, SSA Leg stated that DOR employees submitted a certification to FinCEN, falsely alleging the Chrisleys were involved in terrorism or money laundering in order to obtain the Chrisleys' financial information. As a result of this unlawful coordination between the DOR's Compliance Division, which is civil, and OSI, which is criminal, evidence obtained through civil processes were deemed unconstitutional during federal prosecution due to Fourth Amendment violations. This damning finding was documented in the case of United States versus Chrisley, the consequences of bias and retaliation. The political bias in this case became even more apparent during my mom's 2024 resentencing. Despite successfully appealing her case and receiving a reduced sentencing range from 121 to 151 months to 78 to 97 months, the district court imposed a harsher punishment. Not only did it uphold her 84-month prison term, but it also added 2 years of supervised release, an act that reeked of retaliation. During resentencing, the court devoted significant time to criticizing my public political speech at the Republican National Convention and on my podcast, matters wholly irrelevant to my mother's resentencing. This demonstrates a vindictiveness that should alarm anyone who values impartiality in the justice system. The trial itself was riddled with serious issues that call into question the fairness of the proceedings. False testimony. A government witness and IRS agent falsely claimed that the Chrisleys owed taxes when they did not owe. Prosecutors became aware during the trial that these taxes were fully paid, but they failed to inform the court or the defense, allowing the jury to be misled. Number 2, judicial oversight. Despite the defense filing a motion for a new trial based on this false testimony, the judge never held a hearing to address the motion or the profound impact that the false testimony had on the jury's decision. Number 3, unlawful search and seizure. Much of the government's evidence was derived from a warrantless invasion of the Chrisleys' private property in 2014. Yes, this dates all the way back to 2014. Josh Waits, who had a picture of my father on a dartboard in his office, led the illegal raid and later instructed his team to lie about his presence at the scene. And next, we have unverified losses. The government never held a hearing to substantiate the actual monetary value of the losses they allege were caused by the Chrisleys. They were never required to prove where their numbers originated or demonstrate that their accounting was even accurate. These egregious errors illustrate a system more focused on securing a conviction than ensuring justice, which is what I have said all along. A family torn apart. The impact of this ordeal on our family has been profound. My younger brother Grayson and I have been forced to grow up quickly, stepping into roles that we weren't prepared for. My sister Chloe, who my parents raised as their own, has lost the stability and love of the only mother and father she's ever known. Every day feels incomplete without my parents here. Holidays, birthdays, and everyday moments are tinged with pain and longing. My parents were always the cornerstone of our family, instilling in us values of faith, hard work, and kindness. They were also pillars of their community, known for their generosity and willingness to help others. The void their absence has created is one that cannot be filled. Exemplary conduct in adversity. Despite the unimaginable challenges they've faced, my parents have remained resilient and committed to making a positive impact. My mom, Julie, has earned 43 educational certificates while mentoring other inmates, bringing hope and inspiration to a place where it's so desperately needed. My dad, Todd, has taken on the role of whistleblower. Shocker. Exposing systemic abuses within the prison system and advocating for reforms. Their actions demonstrate the very definition of rehabilitation. They have turned their pain into purpose, proving that they are not only deserving of mercy, but also capable of making the world a better place. Their story is one of resilience, faith, and transformation. The case for clemency, a presidential pardon for Todd and Julie Chrisley, is not just an act of compassion. It's a necessity to uphold the principles of fairness, justice, and accountability. Their prosecution, built on misconduct, bias, and political motivations, represents a dangerous precedent that threatens the right of every American. Granting clemency would send a powerful message that justice is not about winning at all cost, but about doing what is right. It would reunite a family that has suffered immeasurably and allow my parents to continue their journey of redemption and service. And lastly, a daughter's plea for justice. This story is bigger than my family. It's about standing up against a system that allows constitutional violations to overshadow truth. It's about protecting every citizen from the abuses of power that my parents endured. Most importantly, it's about mercy and second chances. Please, Mr. President, bring my parents home. Let them continue their work to make this world a better place. Let our family heal and be whole again. Their story can be one of justice restored and hope renewed. A testament to the power of forgiveness and enduring strength of love. So with that being said, to anyone who've doubted us along the way, that's fine. I hope today is the day that your mind changes and you can stand with me in support and love for getting my parents home. So please, until next time, keep saying all the prayers and let's get them home. Welcome back to Unlocked, and today I have on Chase.
Why do you say it like that?
Because that's our relationship.
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, so what are you gonna offer today?
What do you mean? I always offer whatever.
Chase,
I need
you
to.
don't talk about anything in your life.
Savannah, we have given enough of our lives to everybody else. I don't feel like we need to give every piece of our life away.
Well, why not?
Especially not for free, which I'm not getting paid to be here.
I mean, I do. So I spill.
Yeah.
I spill all the tea.
What tea would you like to spill?
Stop hitting the chair. Is
Well,
this your first time?
I don't know.
Why are you nervous?
I'm not nervous.
What are you running from?
I'm not running from anything. I'm ready for anything that comes.
You're real fidgety over there.
Savannah, you should know I'm not nervous. I could give a less.
Okay, so what? Why are you looking at me like that? I wish you would just talk.
About what?
Just your life. Give people updates on your life. Let people in.
But Savannah, why?
Because it makes me money.
Oh, okay. So I'm glad to see it's about my mental health.
Okay, well, your mental health was gone a long time ago.
Well, I'm trying to rebuild it.
Well, it's
I'm trying to
taking
build it
you
back.
too long. So you need to figure something out.
That ain't the pot calling the kettle black.
Hey, I'm over here. I'm thriving.
Are you?
I'm thriving. I'm thriving. I'm finding me a new person to come and clean. I do have to do that.
You're finding a what?
A new person to come clean for me. Because Grayson and Chloe and myself, that's just a lot with everything else that I'm doing. But
I just got back from seeing Dad. That was a long visit.
I know.
Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday.
That's freaking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You were doing that. I was recouping from my trip that I went on that was outrageous, and I did not get paid enough.
Oh, shit.
I did.
Yeah. Can you talk about that?
I can't talk about what exactly it was that I did, but let's just say that the world is going to get to see me puking for a solid 2 minutes on national television.
Ew.
Yeah, it's not good. I did not get paid.
I knew that once I read up on it, I knew that you were done when there was a mention of swimming. Because Savannah is the worst swimmer in our entire family. Chloe cannot swim. Savannah.
Okay, that's not true.
Savannah, you cannot swim.
I'm not a great swimmer,
You're
but like I
awful.
can swim.
You can swim from like this side of the pool to that side of the pool, but if you've got to swim a distance, you're done.
Well, first off, it was winter time where I was, and the water was like ice filled. So that's brutal.
You knew what you were signing up for, though.
Yeah, I know, but let's just say.
Were you gonna have to do it clothed? Like we're gonna.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Like with boots on and
Yeah.
stuff?
It was.
You would have drowned.
It was not
Savannah,
good.
you would have drowned.
Chase, they literally got me projectile vomiting. Like,
But that's because you couldn't have your medicine.
yeah, they didn't give me my prescribed medication, and it was just all really, really bad. So people are gonna get to see that on a TV soon.
Do you think I could have made it as far?
No, you wouldn't have made it.
Savannah.
You would not have made it as far as me.
That's bull.
You would not have made it as far as me.
You don't think so?
No, not at all.
Do they scream in your face?
Yeah.
Do they touch you?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I don't know if I would have made
Yeah,
that.
it was very brutal what I just did, but I am home, and that jet lag was brutal.
I know.
Like,
You were brutal to deal with while you were dealing with the jet lag.
my days and nights were mixed up. It was bad. It was really bad. But it's fine. I'm home. I'm recouped. You went and saw Dad,
I did.
and you got to hear about the cluster of everything going on at his facility.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. It's awful. Mom also, that whole thing is insane.
Now they both have no air.
Yeah, so
No air conditioning. They both live in states, or they're both in states where it gets 100+ degrees and
Yeah.
there's no air conditioning.
And Mom has rattlesnakes just casually slithering on the floor in front of her.
They were they weren't rattlesnakes.
They weren't. No.
They were poisonous. It was a poisonous snake. I don't know if it was a moccasin or.
Yeah, so she just had snakes literally right there where her bed is.
And then the way they think to apprehend a snake is to mace it.
Unbelievable. That to me is an issue.
No shit. There's no reason why anyone. I don't. There's people that. I don't care if you've killed somebody. If you're in a government facility, you should have air conditioning.
Yeah, that's
just
air
ridiculous.
conditioning is just the least of it. I mean, air conditioning is the least of it. Whenever you've got black mold, asbestos,
And
lead-based paint, snakes, and also one thing I don't agree with
it's not
is,
fear factor.
Well, I mean, Chase, it is prison, so we're not going to sit here and act like it should be the Four Seasons because
Well,
it
I know
shouldn't.
that. I know that, but at the end of the day, it's my parents, so I don't want them, and I don't expect anybody else to feel bad for them. But
I get that, but when people listen to this, again, it's prison, so people don't have any sympathy for it.
yeah, I know, I get
And
that.
so people don't want them.
Well, they don't
being
have any
housed.
sympathy until they're in this situation. It's
Exactly.
their loved one.
Exactly. So when your loved one's sitting there, literally having a heat stroke and ending up in a hospital or not being fed properly, and
It
then,
pisses you off.
Of course it does, and it's awful. And the fact that now we have the director of the BOP going around and doing visits to these facilities, but the facilities are notified of when she is coming, that's also an issue. Because these facilities now have time to go and hide everything they need hidden.
Not fix the problem,
No.
just temporarily hide it so
Yeah.
no one sees it. Yeah.
Exactly, because that's all that's happening is these prisons are being notified of when the director is coming, so now they have time to scramble and fix all of their mess ups just temporarily, just put a Band-Aid on it.
But that's the thing, and that's why I have faith that it's all going to come to light, because they are not fixing it. They're temporarily hiding it.
Exactly. And what's so sad is these people who are speaking out about it or want to speak out about it are being retaliated against.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just wrong. I mean, there are some things that are going to come to light that are
disgusting.
It will leave people speechless about the things that go on in these facilities. And I'm ready for that day to come, but
it's coming.
It'll happen in its own timing. And it's just crazy to sit and watch mom and dad go through that. But luckily they have the fight in them to...
They're strong.
Exactly.
And they've remained loyal to each other. They love each other.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is, like, that's the biggest organized crime that I've ever seen is the government.
Well,
and owning and operating places like this to where it's making money for them, but it's literally putting people's lives in danger from the conditions.
Oh, 100%. I mean, the conditions are awful, and it's sad. It breaks my heart, but again, things will be revealed when it's time, and the information that has come to me is astonishing.
In boatloads.
Literally, in boatloads that have been mailed, emailed, direct messaged. I mean,
phone calls.
It's crazy. The amount of no caller ID calls that I get, insane. But it's just that whole thing, because everyone always wants an update on how mom and dad are doing. And they're doing fine.
They're doing as good as they can,
exactly. They're doing fine with what they're given. Like, they're getting by, but it's...
But my parents or our parents, they're very, very strong individuals.
Well, yeah,
and they were not built to break, and this damn sure is not going to break them.
No, and too, these tabloid stories that are coming out that I find to be laughable, that come out that say that they're just, they're falling apart. They have no faith. They, feel so guilty for what they've done. All of that is bullshit. It's all a complete lie. And it's being fed to benefit other people. And it's just not right. It is so false. The narrative that we give is the truth. And that truth is that they are in inhumane conditions. But while in inhumane conditions, they're keeping their sanity.
They're keeping their faith.
They're putting one foot in front of the other. So they're not giving up. There is no admission of guilt. They have, since the beginning,
they've always said that they are innocent.
Exactly. They have always said that they're innocent, that they have not done these things, and they will stick to that. So all of those things are a complete lie. We've entered into, we have had some new legal counsel that has entered into the game. And I think that it is going to be, we're doing everything that we possibly can to fight this appeal, because we know that the government
plays very dirty.
Yeah, the government plays dirty, and it's unfortunate. I grew up, it's funny, I said, like, growing up in the South, you're taught, you love our country. You respect our country. It's the greatest nation on earth. It's you die for our country. It's just, you grow up in the South. That's what it is. It's like, God bless America. But after going through what we've gone through, it's so sad, because it puts such a bad taste in our mouth about the country that we live in. And it's sad because it is. It's just, when the government wants you, they want you, and they will do whatever it takes in order to get what they want.
Yeah.
And
there's so many personal vendettas that have been involved in this entire thing. I mean, It's just messy.
It is. It's extremely messy. And we've put a link to a website to where people can access all of these records. They can access the appeal. They can access the Office of Inspector General's report that was done in Georgia that states all of the illegal activity that was done by the government, that the Office of Inspector General stated that the Georgia Department of Revenue had basically accused our family of terrorism and money laundering in order to obtain financial records. And it shows these things. And I think what's so sad is it's so hard for the everyday person to find this information.
Mm-hmm.
It's so hard for them to access it, to educate themselves, because it's not made easy.
Yeah.
So there'll be a link to where people can go and educate themselves on the appeal. They can read through it all, the Office of Inspector General's report, and all these different things. And I think at this point, that's the only thing we can do. We have to make it easy for people to educate themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because I say, like, hey, if you want to convict them, but convict them on the truth.
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Well, if the truth was out there, they would not have been convicted.
Exactly.
So, yeah. That's their whole point.
That's my whole point. And so, let's see. I'm going to find a letter. So I've started working on a letter that's going to go to all U.S. senators. And it points out a lot of things that really went wrong in our case. So in this letter, I state that obviously people go to the hundreds of letters are received every day of people begging for help. Never in a million years do I think we would be in this position. And so in this letter, I'll just say, for instance, this letter is directed to Senator Scott. And I say, I'm sure that your office receives hundreds, perhaps thousands of letters a month, all different types of requests for help and assistance. I never imagined I would become one of those who's desperately reaching out for help, but I'm indeed in desperate need of help. Last night, I sat eating dinner with my brother and sister and as we were eating, we were watching the hearings on the corruption being exposed within the FBI. Despite the fact that I've told my family and siblings that I'm doing everything in my power to get our parents home, I realized that I needed to take another step and begin pursuing help from anyone and anywhere that I can find a captive audience and someone who's willing to just listen. I need to be heard. My family needs to be heard. My siblings who ask me every day, when are mom and dad going to come home? They need to be heard. So I'm turning to you now and asking you to please read this letter with an open mind. If even one piece of this information strikes you as government overreach, I ask that you please contact me and let me provide you with the actual evidence that substantiates my claims. Please let me show you what's happened to my family. I'm hoping that through that process, maybe we can undo this injustice and bring my family home. We live in America, the greatest nation on earth, a nation that prioritizes freedom, liberty, and justice for all. I believe personally in justice. I'm not in any way trying to get preferential treatment or a free pass for my parents. If the government can honestly and ethically prove their case, then I will absolutely accept that outcome. But that is absolutely not what has happened. Our case, our trial, and our entire experience with the Justice Department has been riddled with errors and inconsistencies. At every turn, the blindfolds of justice that we're supposed to protect were allowed to be lifted. Instead of facts being presented as the basis of the prosecution, our family name was highlighted as an attempt to arouse and alarm the jury. And then I go into some other things that were found actually in the court transcripts and remarks that were made to the jury in order to prejudice them against us. And I state, why use those words? That isn't evidence. That isn't about presenting facts or providing members of the jury with actual documentation or reliable information. These are just remarks intended to create a strong, negative, emotional response that would taint the jury and prejudice them against my family. Why? Why, if their case was so strong, why go to such great lengths to create an emotional reaction versus a logical one?
Mm-hmm.
And
that's true. I mean,
and it's so hard because I want to quote what was said, but we live in such a society that is so quick to cancel that it's so hard because what I'm stating is facts. And so my thing is,
well, all of the new legal representation that has come aboard, they've all said that we were from the moment that we walked in there.
Yeah.
And that it didn't matter. Like this was 100%. I mean,
yeah.
Just
it's unfortunate because, like I said, that statement was used to alarm the jury and
to hit a nerve.
Yeah, it was used to create an emotional response.
100%.
When that should have never been allowed.
Most of those people, the moment they heard that was it for them. It didn't matter what they heard after that.
Exactly. 100%.
Which is not that's not justice.
And it's not right.
This episode of Unlocked is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Most of you listening right now are probably multitasking. Yep, while you're listening to me talk, you're probably also driving, cleaning, exercising, or maybe even grocery shopping. But if you're not in some kind of moving vehicle, there's something else you can be doing right now. Getting an auto quote from Progressive Insurance. It's easy and you could save money by doing it right from your phone. Drivers who save by switching to Progressive save nearly $700 on average. And auto customers qualify for an average of 7 discounts. Discounts for having multiple vehicles on your policy, being a homeowner, and more. So just like your favorite podcast, Progressive will be with you 24/7, 365 days a year. So you're protected no matter what. Multitask right now. Quote your car insurance at progressive.com to join the over 29 million drivers who trust Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates, national average 12-month savings of $698 by new customers surveyed who saved with Progressive between June of 2021 and May of 2022. Potential savings will vary, discounts not available in all states and situations. All right, guys, I'm obsessed with Rocket Money. I've spoken about this app before, and I'm even more obsessed now than I was the first time. I have become very conscious of my spending habits in the past few months, especially with 2 kids. I'm trying to teach them how to become more conscious of it, and Rocket Money makes it so easy. I mean, I have saved hundreds of dollars a month just by using Rocket Money. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that finds and cancels your unwanted subscriptions, monitors your spending, and helps you lower your bills all in one place. Rocket Money also helps you to manage all your finances in one place by automatically categorizing your expenses so you can easily track your budget in real time and also get alerted if anything looks off. I mean, over 3 million people have used Rocket Money, saving the average person up to $720 a year. That's insane. I am obsessed with Rocket Money, and I hope that you guys will jump on the train with me. Stop throwing away your money, cancel unwanted subscriptions, and manage your expenses the easy way by going to rocketmoney.com/Savannah. That's rocketmoney.com/Savannah.
And in this, I do say I fully and completely believe that it's because the attorneys working for the government on this case were so blind to the facts and were after my parents because of the notoriety it brought them in their office. Mm-hmm. The case was a career advancer, but that's not about justice, and this is not the way that our country is supposed to operate. I do not want to offer you sensational statements and try to do what the government did to our family. I want to briefly provide you with facts that outline and prove that what I'm stating is both accurate and true. Mm-hmm. And I go into Mark Braddock and Betty Carter and how
2 of the biggest liars on the face of the planet.
It's the whole thing is just so unfortunate. And I go in, this is a 6-page letter that I'm going to be sending to every single U.S. senator because I say that what happened is not justice for all. Mm-mm. And I say, let's see, because a lot of people don't realize all the corrupt things that went on.
No, and a lot of people have their minds made up. They're with us or they're against us.
Exactly. Let's see, because there was the illegal seizure of the warehouse, and I say,
which allowed documents in that should never have been in.
Yeah, it should have never been allowed in.
Well, one judge agreed that it was not supposed to be in, and then another one allowed it.
So one of the big things in the case is, so we talk about obviously a government's key witness lying on the stand. So we talk about that. And then I say, is this America? Is this how we do justice in this country? Hiding the facts in order to sway the jury to an outcome we desire. Shouldn't the truth be presented without prejudice? Shouldn't we prioritize the facts above all? Isn't it the responsibility of the prosecutors and agents of the court to ethically present the truth and let the jury decide on the outcome based on those facts? This is not the only major issue within my parents' case. In 2014, the then chief criminal investigator of the Georgia Department of Revenue began taking an unusual interest in my father, Todd Chrisley. This man, who I'm not going to state his name because he loves to get Sue happy, but this man had a picture of my dad on a dartboard in his office, initiated and led a warrantless search of a locked warehouse where my parents stored personal items. This man arrived at the warehouse with his police lights flashing, although he later told fellow Department of Revenue officers to lie by telling people he had not been there. This is absolutely a statement of fact. It is both accurate and provable within the court transcripts, and I can provide you with the exact documentation. With no warrant, this rogue group displayed a piece of paper to the manager at the warehouse and demanded entry inside. When the manager initially refused, they threatened the manager with arrest. Again, I can provide proof of these statements. Based on these threats, the Department of Revenue officers forced their way into the warehouse and hauled off its contents. The seized items included massive amounts of furniture, personal property, and about 20 boxes containing documents. Before a court could order the return of my parents' belongings, the FBI and the U.S. Attorney's Office met with the Georgia Department of Revenue to discuss how best to transfer the illegally obtained records to federal agents. They decided to obtain federal search warrants, allowing them to seize my family's property from the Department of Revenue's possession. IRS Special Agent Larry Arrow then received the materials seized from the illegal warehouse search. Shortly after, Arrow sought and obtained a federal search warrant for my parents' personal emails held by American Online and Google, AOL. Federal agents also issued subpoenas for various other records based on what they had seen in those documents. Long before trial, we filed 2 motions to suppress evidence relating to the warehouse documents and the emails obtained from AOL and Google, each raising separate and distinct grounds for relief. The first motion asked the court to suppress the documents and records seized at the warehouse, along with all evidence derived from them. After a 2-day evidentiary hearing on the separate motions, Magistrate Judge Justin Anon entered a report and recommendation on each motion. The magistrate judge determined that the district court should exclude all documents and materials seized at the warehouse and all documents and materials derived from the illegal search. Thus, the court's ultimate suppression ruling on the warehouse motion extended beyond the physical documents seized from the warehouse. It suppressed all information, documents, and records the government obtained that flowed from information it learned because of the illegal search. At the final pretrial hearing before the magistrate judge, the government suggested that it might have independent sources for some evidence linked to the warehouse search, including specifically digital copies of some of the documents found there. In response, we filed a motion to require the United States to establish admissibility of suppressed evidence. This motion specified 5 categories of evidence that derived from information the Georgia Department of Revenue illegally obtained at the warehouse. These categories included not only the results of AOL and Google search warrants, but also information the FBI and IRS obtained after looking at the warehouse documents. The question this motion posed to the district court was straightforward. Did the government have a valid legal basis to admit this evidence, even though it was a fruit of the illegal warehouse search? The government understood the issue perfectly, arguing that it had such a basis. And I continue going on about that. And it's just so crazy that all of these things exist. These things happened. The government broke the law.
Mm-hmm.
But it's okay for them to do that.
Yeah.
And
they've been doing that since the beginning of time, though.
yeah.
And they're not going to stop now.
The government has not been forced to prove certain things. And at the end of this, I just say, how can this happen here in America? Again, I'm not asking you to believe me. I'm only asking you to take the next step and ask for proof. Every single word within this letter can be proven and substantiated. I want help. I need help. My younger siblings need your help. I look into the eyes of a 10-year-old who only wants to have her mother back, and I have no good answers. I don't have the power to get these answers, but I know that you do. Please use your power to help the powerless. Use your influence to let truth and justice prevail. I'm not asking you to change the outcome, only to level the scale so that once again, justice can be blind, the rule of law be upheld, and that we can return to the values of liberty and justice for all. Because at the end of the day, that's what needs to happen.
Yeah.
And what's so crazy is, you know, I did the whole Fox News thing. Mm-hmm. And I got some backlash for it. I mean, I got a heck of a lot more love than I got backlash.
Yeah.
I got it.
I've done this before.
Well, I got a heck of a lot more love than I got backlash for doing that. But this is no right-wing, left-wing issue. This is an issue that the American people should be concerned about.
Yeah, because if it happened to us, it can happen to you. Exactly.
That's the thing. And so the whole thing, it's just so sad that, honestly, it's sad that we're having to deal with this, that at 25 and 26 years old, we're having to deal with this.
Yeah.
Like, it
sucks. It sucks. But I mean, and like the American dream is to build something that you're proud of, and then continue to build something with your family that you're proud of, and continue to grow and succeed. But you can only do that to a certain extent, because once you start making waves that make people in a position of power uncomfortable, then they will do whatever they need to do in order to silence you and to halt that and to put you down. And that's exactly what's happened with us.
Yeah. It's honestly sad, but I use it as like fuel.
Yeah.
I use it as fuel because I will fight like hell.
You're going to get those motherfuckers.
Don't talk like that. I will fight like hell, and I will expose the truth. 100%. That's the thing.
And that's what we just have to continue to do, and we're not going to stop.
No.
There is not 1 ounce of quit in any of us.
No, not at all. Because at the end of the day, I want mom and dad home. Mm-hmm. Like, that's what I fight for every single day of my life.
Yeah.
And also, let's fight for what's right. Because people love to come at us and say, oh, they deserve it, this, that, and the other. No. Do your research. Educate yourself. Read documents. And it's just sad because it's taken a toll on everyone. Mm-hmm. Like, it's taken a toll on Chloe and Grayson, Nanny, Papa, Nanny Faye, us. Like, it's not. And I wish people would bring more awareness to that. Mm-hmm. Like, the toll it takes on families of individuals that are incarcerated.
Yeah, the collateral damage is just...
It's awful.
Incomprehensible.
And the amount of people that I've had that have come to me and they're like, thank you so much for speaking out. Keep doing it. Keep doing it.
Well, when I was visiting mom, it was right after you had gone on Fox.
Yeah.
One of the other women that's in there walked up to me and she was like, please tell Savannah that we are so appreciative of what she's doing and the way she's speaking out, because all of us in here finally feel like we have a voice now. I was like, she's been shutting my voice out for 25 years.
Shut up. No, that's amazing though. Because it's tough. I'm not going to lie.
It's tough on us, but it's even tougher on them.
Yeah, but it's tough being a voice because
like you said, you start to disrupt areas that they don't like.
Yeah. 100%.
And there's backlash with that. And that's fine, because at the end of the day, I'm going to stand for what's right. And
you should change the name of your podcast to the Disruptor.
the Disruptor. Dear God. It's just, at the end of the day, I'm not the most educated human being in the world. But now I know better. And now when you know better, you do better.
Yeah.
And it's our responsibility to educate
and you've gained
ourselves.
a ton of knowledge. I think we all have.
Yeah.
But I mean, you don't go through something like this and not learn a bunch of stuff, you know? And you've obviously learned a bunch. We've all learned a bunch. But you've been on the phone, like you're understanding like the legal side of it now.
Yeah.
That the only people that you can have a conversation with that know anything like legitimate about this is an attorney.
Yeah.
And you didn't go to law schools.
No, definitely didn't. But I think when you're so personally impacted by something,
You got skin in the game.
yeah, you got skin in the game, and you will do whatever it takes to educate yourself and try to change the outcome.
Mm-hmm.
And so it sucks, but it's, you know what? Gives us fuel.
Yeah, they got the wrong bunch because we are not quitting.
No,
we are not quitters.
I will never quit. I don't care if I have to take this to the Supreme Court.
Yeah, I mean,
will
it should.
most
go
certainly do that. So there is no quitting that's happening. We have a great team of people behind us that I'm so blessed and grateful for.
That's just
And
God working too.
It really is. I've seen God show up so many times.
Mm-hmm.
Just when I get to the end and I'm like, I don't know how I can do this any longer.
Boom.
Something happens.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something I don't take for granted. It's been a huge test of faith.
Yeah.
Like, it's been a huge...
For sure. I think with everybody. I mean, I know for myself, like it's... I mean, that's what that it comes to the point where like there's nothing else.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you got.
Yeah. And it's hard because
you'd be like, why?
Why? You keep asking why. And maybe we've started to see that why.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's allowed us to be a voice for so many people.
And hopefully bring change.
Yeah. Definitely bring change. And, you know, I was looking back the other day because I couldn't help but have the curiosity of like, wow, 12 years is a really long time for this alleged crime. Like, it's a really long time. And
There's people that have killed people that haven't been sentenced to 12 years.
Yeah.
And pedophiles that are getting
a slap on the wrist.
Yeah, less time than what mom got.
Yeah, it's sad. And so I started looking and I was like, there's something more to this. And I'm looking back at Dad's social media. And if you recall, back in 2020, I think it probably was, Dad starts becoming more vocal on his Instagram page. He starts calling out government officials. He starts posting audio recordings of these government officials. He starts to expose the corrupt nature that is Georgia.
Yep.
And
what's one way to keep him from doing that? Lock him up.
Yeah, I think, and it's just obviously people have their conspiracy theories, but when looking back at that in that time frame and knowing the thousands of hours of recordings that we have, and he's posting these things, he's calling out government officials, governor, calling out all these people, and then he gets the book thrown at him. He gets prosecutors asking for life thrown at him.
The prosecutors were pissed off that he got 12 years. They wanted him to
They objected.
They wanted him to have like, it was like 17 and a half.
No,
when it finally went to the day of sentencing, whenever they put on their case, that's what they put up on the slide.
No, they put
You remember that?
17 million loss.
No, I know that.
But during sentencing, they asked for life. They were asking for life in prison. There was no 17. They were asking, it was $17.5 million loss amount that they have still not been able to prove. But they wanted life.
Yeah, I blacked out.
They wanted life. And so my mind starts to wander, why was the book thrown? And I think I have now found the answer to why that occurred, which I find to be interesting. And I think, I'm blessed to have the Office of Inspector General to hopefully do another report into why these things have occurred. And it's crazy. Never in a million years I think this will be our life. And now,
but this is just a small portion of our life.
It is definitely small portion.
We have bigger and brighter days ahead of us. You know that, and I know that, and we'll look back on this and just be grateful for the lessons that we've learned.
Oh, 100%. Be grateful for each other, the lessons learned, and now we can hopefully move on.
Yeah, and I mean, throughout this entire thing, I think one thing that is really, I've really noticed is that now I will fight harder, and I'm more loyal now to you and to Grayson and Chloe and Mom and Dad than I ever have been.
Yeah.
I mean, I was always been loyal to my family, but now, like, let somebody say some slick shit. Because I will you up.
Honestly, I love
There's no
the
breaking
people.
it, though.
No, there's
no breaking it.
There's no breaking it, and I love the people that we have in our life that have remained steadfast and loyal, and the amount of my friends and their parents that like continue to write Mom and Dad letters that like every single week some of them do, and it's the most amazing gift in the entire world. And
also an amazing gift is the people that are gone, that God showed us who they were and moved them out.
Yeah, for sure.
Because that would have just come back. I mean, because that shows that those people were not loyal. They weren't there. They were there for the wrong reasons. So that was going to come back to bite us in the ass down the road.
Yeah. I mean, you learn a lesson in everything. And this was our lesson, and we take that with us. And it is what it is. I mean, I'm not grateful for it.
I'm not grateful for it
grateful
either.
for the things that it's revealed.
Yeah.
That's for sure. So with this whole learning experience too, obviously, like, we're on our own paths to doing our own things, creating a successful life for ourselves. And like I said, God shows up. He provides. He has given such great opportunities for us to succeed. And so you obviously have been working on your podcast with John. And so tell us about that. And when I say John, it's Uncle John Daly.
John Daly. Yeah. John's been traveling a lot, so we kind of have to get in and do as many episodes as we can in a day and cover as much as we can.
Because you never know when you're going to get John back.
Or which John you're going to get.
That is very true.
Yeah.
But John Daly is like a golf legend.
Yeah.
But you got to keep in mind, people that are listening to this may not know that.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you don't know John Daly, you should look him up. Absolute legend. Legend in golf. Legend in life. I mean.
He like golfs barefoot, y'all.
Yeah. And honestly, that's the best way to golf. If you haven't golfed barefoot, you should try it. But yeah, so I've been working on that, and then I'm working on a show, a scripted series, and then doing real estate with you, trying to build that company up, and hopefully sail off into the sunset one day.
Exactly, right? Wouldn't that be amazing? Hey, I'm counting down the days for that.
Me and you both.
Counting down the days.
But no, it's
Adios.
fun. It's I'm excited. I'm really excited about the scripted series. I'm excited about John. I'm excited about all of it. I mean, and opportunities just keep coming to fruition that I'm I'm very thankful for. I know
That's
you are
awesome.
too.
I know. I am very. Hey, life, and that's the thing, is it doesn't matter what you go through, you can find beauty in the ashes.
Yeah.
Like, it is possible. It may seem like life just sucks and nothing is going your way and you want to give up. But I can tell you from personal experience, when you choose to overcome it and not give up, God shows up.
Yeah.
God gives you
we
the
weren't
strength.
raised to give up. I mean,
No, but also
but life will hand it to you.
life will hand it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And when you feel like giving up, just keep getting up.
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing. When you feel like giving up, just keep getting up.
Yeah.
And things will turn around. And that's what I try to tell Chloe and Grayson. And, like, it's okay to have a bad day.
Yeah.
But you're not going to fall into it. We're going to get up. We're going to make something new of today. We're going to make it better.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be okay.
Yeah. You've always been really good about that. And then until you hit a wall.
Yeah.
And then, but you've always gotten back up.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's like we all eventually hit a wall. And I had to tell myself, like, all right, it's okay. It's okay to, like, cry and fall apart, but we're going to get back up.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, I mean, I'm grateful for every hardship and adversity, because at that point you turn around and God uses it to your advantage. So he's strengthening us for a moment that he knows is going to be placed right in front of us.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't, I mean, I will keep fighting. I will not give up.
God will close the door, but he'll place somebody there to open a window for you.
Mm-hmm.
So.
That is so true. All right, so you're doing okay.
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
You know, Chase, he didn't give me any good juice.
What do you want? What? Just ask me the juice that you want.
No, it's fine. Well, guys, until Chase decides to give us some more juice, he's not allowed back.
I feel like we gave a lot of juice. I mean,
You don't give any personal juice.
what personal juice would you like?
Just anything for a tabloid to take and run with.
Oh, so that's what this is about.
Yeah.
I'm trying to keep my damn name out of the tabloids, not in them.
Well, I mean, you know, fair enough. Until next time, maybe we'll have some more juice for you. But thank you for coming
I'll tell you what.
on.
Next time we'll set it up, and I'll just do a tell-all.
See, that I like. That's a good idea.
That's gonna take some planning though, because I got a lot of shit to tell.
I'll even cut you in.
Oh my God, let's do it right now.
See y'all. Chrisley. No, I'm not gonna say that. But
See us on TV soon.
shut up, Chase. All right. Until next time, y'all. Thank you for tuning in, and
Thank you for having me.
there's more to come.
Yeah.